Hey, hey, hello everyone. Hey, hi, Life Hope, Regina. Hi everyone. How is it going? Hi, Laura. Hey, Ramón. Buenas tardes desde España. Eh, can you hear me good? Can you see me good? Everything good? Today there is no wind, there is no storm, so much better. Okay, so here we are. Um, Okay, so welcome to these live sessions prior to the masterclass, which will take place on the next Sunday, 31st of March at 7 p.m. And this will be a free online event where you will learn the three keys to guarantee an effective Ashtanga practice without pain, even if you don't know anything about the universal principles. And if you didn't register for the class, you can go in Instagram to the bio, or you can click in the link that I will leave in the comments now. Uh, there you go, elbrujoyoga.com. You can go there and you can register. Hi, Valentina. Uh, yeah, so today we're going to talk about the tradition, what is traditional, what is not traditional, adaptation in the practice of Ashtanga Yoga. So let's jump into it. So let's go. There we are. You can see this, right? I hope you can see uh, this thing that I am having here. So let's start with this. The importance of a tradition. Okay, so when we have a tradition, uh, we have a backup because it gives validity to whatever we are doing. They have done many before us, and you are doing it. Uh, there is a system behind, so there is a tradition. It means that there is, like there is a system already uh, in place where the people were practicing for this long time, and it's kind of backed by this, right? And this is important as well because there is a roadmap where to follow, and because there is a system and there is a roadmap, there is there is a way where the step by step where you can go through, you can get results if you do it properly. So this is the importance of the tradition, to have a backup. Now, adapting. So it was always part of the tradition, as I see it, adapting this, because there is something that is called parampara, which is which is uh, the knowledge transfer from the student, from the teacher to the student, and this is something that is individual. So the teacher is teaching individually to the student for the needs of the student. So this is why is it might teach, the teacher might teach uh, to some student in some way and to some other students in some other way. So it's always a question of adapting to the person you have in front, right? So this is called parampara, from teacher to student. And now we've got the Krishnamacharya's legacy, which everyone he has taught develop a particular form. Krishnamacharya's legacy was the teacher of Patabi Joyce, which was the one who developed the Ashtanga Vinyasa system and methodology in conjunction with him. Both of them, they were developing this system. But Krishnamacharya taught as well Mr. Iyengar, which after it became Iyengar Yoga, which it was actually, I think they were brothers-in-law. And after Krishnamacharya's song, it was the Sikachar. And he developed what he called at some point Vini Yoga, which it was more focused on the Vinyasa Krama, so on the Vinyasa steps. Krishnamacharya taught as well Indra Devi, which was the first woman studying yoga with him, and she brought it later to Hollywood and to all this to America, and she became famous over there in those times because it was there was new thing over there. He taught as well A.G. Mohan, which he is doing some kind of yoga therapy with Ayurveda and yoga. And he didn't taught personally Vanda Scaravelli, but he kind of taught her kind of proxy. So he sent Iyengar and his son, the Sikachar, to her place in Switzerland to teach her there. So she was somehow being taught by him, but in a proxy way. So it was a little bit like that. So this would be more or less the adaptation. But now we've got here an important one. What's tradition? And this is a big one. So tradition, according to the dictionary, would be the unwritten or oral delivery of information, opinions, doctrines, practices, rites, and customs from father to son or from ancestors to posterity. The transmission of any knowledge, opinions, or practice from forefathers to descendants by oral communication without written memorials. So, something that is transmitted, mainly, I wouldn't say individually, but it could be, like from one or a few people to a group of people. But yeah, this is what is defined the definition of tradition. So I put here, what's the problem with that? Well, the truth never changes. The truth is unwavering. So because I put this thing because here from us, I in the definition they say the transmission of any knowledge, opinions, and opinions is not. It does not have to be necessarily aligned with truth. So truth is something that never changes. Is not waving. Is unwavering. Truth is there all the time. It was there all the time, and it will be all the time there. But opinions do change, and times change as well, and approach to the problems inevitably change sometimes because we have to adapt regarding the situation in the moment. So, and after we've got here individual interpretation of the tradition itself. So, which it would be more of I would say if the person can understand what it's all about, can understand the essence, can understand it has a good foundation, he got it. Well, in this case, it could be something that might enhance the tradition. or it could compromise it. So there is these two ways, right? It might enhance it or it might compromise it, depending on the level of understanding of the individual and after if he's passing it on. So what's traditional Ashtanga Yoga? And what is taken nowadays as traditional, and I have to be a little bit of critical here, is not all the time, but sometimes you find this. And I put here how good you can follow the rules and dictates of somebody else, because in some now it's changing, thankfully. But a few years ago there was this thing that you cannot make questions, you cannot question the teacher, you cannot ask anything, or if you ask, maybe the teacher will, like just not answer you, or snap at you in a rude way or something like that. Which, okay, it depends on the character. It could be working for some people, but with some other people, it's not working. So it depends. And this is why we have to take it with a little bit of salt here. How good you can follow the rules and dictates. It's not all the time, and it's not in all the places. But sometimes there is I would say, an archetype of, or a character, of this thing that the teacher wants the student to really, really, uh, follow everything what he says, and this is a little bit. It's not really good if he cannot be challenged, because he's in the position that he should be able to be challenged, and have a background to, uh, to explain and to do everything of that, to fulfill the role of the teacher. So there is as well this factor of no questioning and no critical thinking, which is deriving from the first one. So if you are not questioning, because you are not allowed to question, you don't develop critical thinking, and therefore there is no knowledge and there is no understanding, because you want to ask something that you have a question, and you can't, you can't get any answer. So this is something quite counterproductive for the whole thing, because it brings no understanding with this attitude, and eventually it becomes a dogma or a new religion. So you are doing the things and you don't understand why you are doing those things. So you are a little bit like, okay, I am doing this thing and I have no idea what I am doing, nor why I am doing. So it becomes a dogma, and this is something that I would like to mention, because I mentioned religion here. And religion, it comes from religare. Religion comes from Latin religare, which means to tie back. And this could have two different meanings. One, it would be positive, that you are uh, tying yourself back with a higher consciousness, and so you will enhance yourself with this. But as well, you can tie yourself with a dogma because you don't understand. So this religion is both, is a double-edged sword. So it's something that we've got to look at it carefully, because everything is in the attitude and how we approach the things, right? So when it's tying you back, is when it's based in unchallenged dogmatic beliefs, which holds back the progress of consciousness. So if you cannot challenge those beliefs, you are not able to develop in the consciousness because there is no understanding. So it's quite important, this thing, to develop critical thinking and to question things. Another thing that is commonly taken as traditional is the fact that, that full tapas, practicing tapas at the expenses of the understanding. And I'm going to explain myself with this because tapas is not bad, of course, but when it's at the expenses of the understanding, is not something desirable. So, for example, what they say, if you are not able to practice this posture, you have to keep practicing, which, yes, is partly true, but there is a part over there that is missing, which we will see now. So the abhyasa is the steady effort in the direction you want to go. So it's the practice itself, the sadhana, right? It's important, but have to be backed with understanding, because there is something that Mr. Gurdjieff was talking about, and I find that this is very interesting about knowledge. He calls it a question of knowledge and being. So when is so there is two, let's say, in order to develop consciousness, there is two factors. One is knowledge and the other is being. And they have to go more or less at the same time, going up. So if you have this level of knowledge, you can only get this level of being, being meaning being present. This would be, like this effort to be in the moment, right? So with certain knowledge, you only can be as much present in the moment as this knowledge allows you. It might be a little bit more, but not too much. And the opposite way is the same. If you have this level of being present, but you don't have any knowledge, you cannot, you cannot, you need both. Is they go hand by hand. So you need to be able to be present, and at the same time, you need knowledge, which will allow you to keep evolving the consciousness. So this is why it's important. We come back here to the diagram. This way it's important to have understanding as well. It's not everything practice, and all is coming. Yes, it's coming if you have understanding as well. So, and after a vision of traditional Ashtanga, what is traditional, tainted by their own experience. Because depending when the people went to Mysore, in the early days, there was between 10 or 20 people in the shala, and it was very different than nowadays. And there was, when the shala in Mysore started to become crowded in the mid-late 90s and 2000s, and nowadays, it's overly crowded. It's really, there is a lot of people, and it's more like a military-like style of teaching, which is a little bit questionable if you can get this individual approach, individual, for you, is more working. There is more working like a one rule fits all, and this is kind of not really. It's not really the case, I would say, in order to understand, to have understanding, because you can be an amazing practitioner, but if you don't have understanding, it's just like, calisthenics or something like that. So how I see the traditional Ashtanga. when you study with senior teachers. You have less of this one rule fits all. You have more understanding because knowledge behaves like matter. It's something material, the knowledge. So if you have, this is something that as well, it was explained by Mr. Gurdjieff. When you have certain amount of knowledge and you have a lot of people, every one of those people, they will get very little knowledge, and this knowledge, it will have no uh, effect on these people, you see, because the quantity is very little. But if you have certain amount of knowledge, but you have a reduced amount of people, you have a reduced limited group, every one of them will get a bigger piece, so they will get more out of it, you see. So this is why I think as well that nowadays, when you go to an overcrowded place, you are not going to get everything that you could get from there, because what you will get is very little in comparison with what you could get in if it's reduced amount of people. And after, of course, the application of knowledge and experience. So once you understand more, you can apply this knowledge later. And a supportive practice for the individual. So it's not military like if you do this, you can pass to the next posture, but it's more understanding because you've got the knowledge, you've got the understanding, and you are able to apply. So you are helping the other to for him. It's like for him to have a practice that is supportive in his or her life. And this is because you are using the individual approach, and of course, nothing is settled in stone. You are able to see what you have in front, and you are able to adapt to the circumstances of what you have in front. Of course, if somebody has a broken spine, you are not going to force him to do kapotasana or something like that and catch the heels in order to keep going, right? You have to put always circumstances uh, into the equation. So now we've got why adapting and not compromising the essence of the tradition. Reasons. It is a service rather than enslavement. It has a purpose for the individual, and it keeps the individual engaged because if he feels that it's helping him, he would like to keep doing this thing more. And it matches with the individual's character, which I'm gonna see now the case is how Krishnamacharya taught Iyengar, because Iyengar he was very sick, so he was uh, making him to stay longer in the postures, and it was having a more therapeutic uh, kind of effect. So he how Patabi Joyce taught Nancy Gilgoff. In She was as well a little bit sick. She was not able to do vinyasas in primary, so she was practicing without vinyasas in primary. So they were adapting and approved. And this is the possibility of doing no vinyasa, like Nancy Gilgoff, half vinyasa as you are doing normally in primary or intermediate, or full vinyasa, that it would be to do almost like a sun salutation between the postures. So you've got this possibility. So you've got the possibility to adapt as well in this. Okay, challenges and critics. There we go. So when you step out of what is commonly established, you're gonna face always rejection. It's something in whatever, not only in Ashtanga, in whatever in life, if you do something that is not normally accepted, you will face rejection. So it's easier to go with the majority, and it's challenging to explore new things. And if you want to learn anything in life, not only Ashtanga, you need to pay a price. And the price, it does not have to be money, but it can be time, can be effort, can be challenges, it can be exploring new things, it can be your attention, whatever, etc. There is always a price for everything. There is nothing free, ever. You need to pay always in some kind of currency, whatever it is, this currency. So there is always the price to pay in order to get something in exchange. And overcoming challenges, well, the practice is about that. It's about overcoming all the challenges. This will keep you an open mind because you wanna have to find a way how to overcome those challenges. It's gonna make you be present in order to read the situation properly and in order for after to adapt to the situation, right? And trying new things, it will make you learn more. You will get different results because you are trying new things. You will get a different outcome. And this is something important as well. We become more familiar with uncertainty. And this is some big component in life because many times people can't bear the feeling of uncertainty. And this is, I find, really important because sometimes we take decisions and sometimes the wrong decision out of this heaviness that we cannot take. This is like a burden that we don't know. And we kind of finally have to say, okay, I don't know. I'm going to, in this case, therefore, take my decision, do my take on it. And I will, from now on, I will start to decide, I will decide this or that. It's out of, we make this decision out of a wrong standpoint, out of a wrong departure point, which is not really good. So I find that um, this is a good component. Strategies, what I do here, my take on that. I personally, I stick with the sequence when I am practicing or when I am teaching, and if there is no problem, I keep going. And if there is a problem, if I face a challenge, well, in this case, I look at it. I have to look at it and see how can we approach it and see how can we find a way to work through it. And this would be more or less today's today's life. I would like to ask you if any of you have any question, you can put it in the chat and I can answer you here. Uh, just write it down if you are curious about something regarding this topic of today. And yeah, I hope I explained it clearly and that you like it. So no questions. Okay. Okay, cool. So in this case, we will finish. I will finish the live of today. Tomorrow there is another one. And on Sunday, it will be the big day. So hope to see you at 7 every day, tomorrow and day after tomorrow at 7. So yeah, take care and see you. Hey, Alicia, all right. And see you and take care. See you tomorrow. Ciao, ciao. See you, Laura.